Welcome back to another episode of Tech I Want. I'm Dan.
And I'm Rafi.
And today we're reviewing another campaign, another Kickstarter campaign. This one is trending right now. They've already raised nearly $300,000. It'll probably be past that by the time we go live. And it's a pretty interesting campaign. It's Dwarf II, a portable and versatile smart telescope. And to be honest, this product kind of surprised me because I'd always pictured a telescope to be one of those long manual things, there's no technology in it. You just put your eye to it, see the stars. This is like a little kind of binocular sized device that has that and much more. It's like a smart, connects to your laptop and everything, but we're getting ahead of ourselves.
All right.
Do you have anything you want to add to that?
No, it sounds good. I mean, just at first glance, we're looking at it. It does look like a little cube, so it doesn't look like your traditional microscope, or not microscope, telescope. Sorry.
I wonder if you could use it as a microscope.
Unless it's a periscope. Is this maybe it just goes and comes out?
Is that what a periscope did, or was the periscope the fact that it has a bend in it? Because if it is the fact that it has a bend in it,
I don't know.
That's what this is. But let's find out. Let's show you guys. We're gonna watch a video. Dwarf II. Tiny scope.
It looks like it has several different names. I'm not sure if Dwarf II is the name of the product or the name of the people making the product.
I think Dwarf II is the name of the product. Tiny Scope is the name of the company behind it.
Oh, that's weird. I like how the product has a vague name and the company has a very specific name.
Well, I guess they're in this industry. Yeah, exactly. They're in this industry. This isn't their first campaign, as we'll see.
Wait, are we selling shoes, or is this? That was a funny. I guess it's just setting the scene. But as soon as I see that, I'm like, oh, cool shoes. What do you think?
This kind of surprised me. Telescope, I think of it at night. People are taking it out to look at the moon and the stars.
Sure.
Bright daylight, And I'm kind of thinking, what's he going to use the telescope for in bright daylight? What's he telescoping?
Dude, yeah, I don't know. We don't know yet. But first thing that pops into my mind is, why does this guy look like a Bond villain? It looks like he's setting up, he reached his location, he's setting up his probably sniper rifle to go spy on someone and shoot them from a distance, all calmly and all fashionable, with this matching track outfit.
And he's super buff as well. I don't know, if you're a buff astronomer, please leave us a comment. I'm curious, how many buff astronomers are out there.
But it's not just for astronomy.
Well, yeah, as we're going to see now, he's taking pictures of ducks. That's what Bond villains do nowadays.
Periscope.
That went a little bit fast.
A lot of shit is inside of this thing.
A lot of specs, huh? Does that say anything to you? Doesn't really say anything to me.
Autofocus. I got that one.
Has two lenses. One, I guess, so that you can set up the shot, see it from a distance, see the whole image,
right,
and then zoom into that thing that you want to.
Right. I like how autofocus is two vibrating discs.
This is an amazing feature. This is one of the things I used to really love about going out in nature and taking huge panoramic pictures. And I'd painstakingly have a tripod and just take maybe 30 pictures by 10, so 60 pictures. And then I could spend maybe 3 hours just carefully putting those together on my computer into a huge...
But so what is this addressing? How is this different? I don't get it.
It's the same thing, but it does it automatically. You tell it, take a picture of this scene, and it has an 8 megapixel camera, 4K camera, and it just little by little takes all of those pictures, moving itself independently. You don't need to do anything. And then it stitches it all together itself as well.
Wow, okay.
Into a gigapixel image, 1 billion pixels.
Right. So, maybe we're jumping at, so this, okay. So it's mostly that, for me, when I'm hearing all this, it's mostly the technology, it's the software inside that makes this thing unique. It's not the lenses, it's not the camera, it's the software that's built inside of it to be able to take 1,000 or some pictures, 1 billion pictures or whatever, and then patch them together to make an individual image.
Yeah.
representing what you would have done in a huge telescope
Mm-hmm.
down into a small package.
It brings the workflow. It makes it much more compact, easier to manage, I guess. You could have been doing all of these things manually, but
Right.
now this, as we'll see later, it tracks stars as well, so it moves, and we'll talk about how that's a problem. But with this, yeah, it stitches the panorama itself, so you don't need to do it independently. I wonder where this is.
Eastern Europe.
I like the motivational. Yes, you can.
Take pictures of the galaxy. Yes, you can. You know what I don't like though is that when I'm looking at that, I don't know if that image that we saw is truly representational of what this product can
It could have
film.
been taken with something else.
Yeah, I don't ever, and I think we'll see this more throughout the entire campaign, is that there was a lot of stunning photographs of space, and I was like, is this real? You know, there's never a feeling, or never even small text or an asterisk that said actual photo, taken with the Dwarf II. It just seemed representational of the aspirational features of the Dwarf II and what you possibly could do. All those kind of fancy litigious talks. But I don't know. I don't get a feeling that that's real. It's too good, basically, is my thinking.
That's a good suggestion for the campaigners. If it is real, add a little asterisk so that they can convince people like you. But from what I understood, sure, you're not going to be taking detailed pictures of Saturn or something like that. But it does work fairly well. It will zoom into the moon. And as we'll see later, it has filters that enable you to take pictures of galaxies and things like that. Already the English isn't quite there. Take picture of moon.
Yes. Does that make it more credible?
No.
No?
No.
Sometimes I think with really high-tech stuff that's over my head completely, I think, okay, it's actually better that they don't speak English well.
They know their math.
Yeah, exactly.
Finally, how far are we into the video? It's almost done, and he's only now just taking pictures of stars. It's nighttime.
But that's not the only feature. Why do you think that's the main focus of this thing?
Well, again, I guess not. But when I hear telescope, I think stars.
What were pirates looking at? What I imagine is pirates going, oh, there's an island out there, There's many other uses, or bird watching, for example. Well, he was looking at a bird, although because he was a Bond villain, I'm sure it was just filled with cocaine. It was like a mule, a geese mule. Star tracking. Wait, star stacking. Was that star stacking or star tracking?
Star stacking. So I think that's something to do with the exposure that you need to give it, and also the fact that you need to take different pictures because the Earth moves. The Earth rotates.
Sure.
So as you're taking a picture of a star with really long exposure, by the time the exposure ends, so say like the shutter is open for 2 minutes, the star will have moved and it will streak.
Yeah.
So they need to take lots of shorter pictures and then stack them together so that you get the full picture.
I get it, yeah. So that enough light comes in and then it goes through and probably erases that streak that goes through there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Did he take that photo? I don't think so. I think he's just looking at NASA's website on his.
He Googled it. This is a pretty cool place, though. I really wonder where this is. Is this a hotel? It looks like he is in space. He is on the moon.
Yeah, he's already there. What's he looking at?
Tiny scope.
Tiny scope.
See things differently.
So is Tiny Scope's the company?
Yes. Simple video, no voiceover, straight to the point, explaining what the telescope is. And if we scroll down a bit, we see that they've already had a few campaigns before. 2 campaigns? Is this their third? Am I remembering this right? 3. Yeah, this is their 3rd campaign. And so you were asking about the English. Does that make them more credible?
Yeah.
And I think, to me, no. Because there's a lot of scam campaigns. It's a pity, but there are a lot of scam campaigns coming out of Asia.
Right.
And so when I see poor English, I automatically think this might be a scam. But I'm really happy to say that I didn't judge this book by its cover, because if you look at their previous campaigns, backers are so pleasantly surprised by the quality of the product.
Yeah.
They delivered on time. and they're showing that right when you.
Do you think it's interesting you say that? I wonder if this is something similar to the other product that we looked at recently, which was the Panda controller. Is this something where once you have a niche, like you have a small group of people, or let's say a significantly large group of people who are enthusiasts about a certain topic, or they're hobbyists or whatever, that they will gravitate towards these products and they will love them or hate them, I guess, right? It's not sitting on the fence. Like, I don't know if we'll get the same kind of feelings about people who buy vacuums, for example. There's not like, yes, vacuums, we love vacuums. And they don't have that kind of group mentality, whereas people who are like into night photography or bird watching or playing video games, they're all drinking the same Kool-Aid,
But they're a lot more specialized as well, no?
Yeah.
So a shitty vacuum cleaner, that might get bad press if it doesn't work as people expect it to. But people don't really know about the electronics or what it's meant to do, like what it promises.
Right.
Whereas this, I feel like the person who already has a smart telescope has a high bar and they're difficult to please.
Sure.
So coming up with a product that meets their expectations for what a smart telescope should be is a challenge.
Yeah. So the chances of doing great and failing horribly are higher, but then once you do get something good or something bad, everyone's going to know about it.
And people keep coming back. I was surprised. Like, you think it's something fairly specific. They have this, so this is the second dwarf. They had one previously.
Yeah.
People bought the first one and they want to buy the second one as well. But they're happy with their first one. It's not like they're displeased.
Yeah.
They just want an extra one.
Do you ever feel bad saying dwarf out loud?
Are we past that now?
Are we?
Should we be saying midget? The midget too?
I feel like that's worse. I don't know which one is better or worse, actually.
The little person too?
Yeah. At least dwarf, you could say it's got a fictional, like we're talking about, things that live in caves.
We're talking about a product.
Yeah, we're talking about a product.
We didn't come up with a name.
But the first one, so what's the big difference between the first one and the second one? Do you know?
No, I don't. Do you?
Well, as I was looking through it, it sounds like the second one has more accuracy and the picture quality is going to be a lot better.
You'd hope.
Yeah, right?
It's like iPhone saying, this is our fastest iPhone ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope. It's not going backwards.
So it's mainly improvements along that end. And I think that's why people are so jazzed about it. If they were using the first one and they were liking it, then this second one, being able to do what they love, which is take pictures or see things from far away even better, is even better, then, it works really well.
And from what I saw as well, there were expansions, mods that they could add to the previous telescope, and people were asking, will those work on this one?
Uh-huh.
And the creators came back to them saying it doesn't need to because this one already has it built in.
Yeah. Eat that, like
you don't even need
throw it away. You don't need that anymore.
The page, I don't know. Did anything stand out to you on the page? Again, the poor English always stands out to me.
You know what stood out to me the most is that I don't understand anything about telescopes, periscopes, or whatever this thing is. That's a totally foreign universe to me. There's a lot of terminology that I have no idea what it means, but I'm sure it's great. I don't know.
Yeah. One of the things that stood out to me.
Go ahead. You say it.
Yeah, you don't think it's taking this picture of the
These
galaxy?
are crystal clear images. These are beautiful professional photographs. If the Dwarf II was taking these photographs, hands down, I'd say this is amazing. This is wonderful. But I don't get a feeling. There's nothing in here that says, or maybe I'm being too skeptical that I'm seeing these images of the moon, the galaxy, birds, and a beautiful scenery with the sun. I don't get the feeling that these are taken with the Dwarf II. If there was some kind of assurance, that'd be nice.
Okay, I mean, I'm no telescope expert or even photography expert, but I was looking through the page and the images they took and stuff like this. So, for example, this one of the bird, it has a lot of bokeh in the background. No, it's blurred.
Yeah.
The depth of field is pretty narrow. And I was looking for what is the aperture of the camera that they're using.
Uh-huh.
And they kept saying 28 millimeters, which isn't a measure of aperture. That's a focal length.
Yeah.
So I guess they don't really know what they're saying. But if it's 2.8, I totally think that this image is realistic. It's credible.
Yeah.
The other ones, so I can remember reading about this a couple years ago. Galaxies, yeah? They don't actually have all those cool designs, colors and things like that.
Right.
That's all added in post based on different wavelengths. No, this is the infrared, this is ultraviolet, and these are kind of like the lights, and this is how we render them so that you can see those colors. This camera has an infrared filter built in. So you can turn it on, turn it off. And I think the idea there is if you're taking pictures of nature, you'd have the filter on, so it's filtering that light so you can't see it.
Yeah.
And then when you're taking pictures of space and you want to get that galaxy image, turn it on. If anybody knows, please let us know in the comments. Maybe we're totally screwing this up.
It sounds like it makes sense.
But so on this note of the taking pictures of stars and galaxies and things, one of the things, we're jumping around a little bit here, but there was an amazing comment. Somebody asked about this. What's the focal length and what are you seeing? Yeah. And they didn't try to come up with some fake answer overselling their product. They actually quoted a backer who had done the science, done the math to figure out like how good is this camera and what can you be taking pictures of. And basically, in answer to your question, it's a 100 millimeter lens, but because of the size of the sensor, if you do the 35 millimeter equivalent to get it to a standard camera, it's 670 millimeter focal length. Math aside, this means that it could be a telescope. Telescopes range from 400 to 3,000, so it is within that range. You can see the moon, you can see the planets, but you won't be able to see things like the rings of Saturn or much detail on the moons of other planets. So I think, the pictures are real, what they've shown so far. If they try to show rings of Saturn, you can be incredulous then.
If you go back to the same page, there's some people who have videos that they've taken with the product. One of them is a guy in his backyard taking a picture of a squirrel underneath a tree. That squirrel is blurry as shit, and it's in his backyard. Hopefully we can find it.
They've removed it. They heard you.
This guy? No, this guy's taking a picture of the microscope that came with the previous product. It was like a gift. Maybe it's a gift with this one too, but it was like the tiny scope magnifying glass that you put on your smartphone. Looks really cool.
Turns it into a microscope, because that was their first campaign as well. No, a microscope. They started off with things really close up, and then they went to things really far away.
Then they got bigger.
They're scopers.
I do like how their team shows pictures of the factory floor. That always impresses me. There's something about seeing the logistics of a project.
But it's nothing concrete, it could be any factory.
It could be any factory, yeah, who knows. And I always like the drawings, like I always feel like these design phase pictures always happen in post. After the project, they're like, this is what it looks like? Yeah, just put that next to me, I'll take a drawing of it. Anyway, why am I so skeptical? Why am I such a cynic? Let's, where is this video of the guy with his...
with the squirrel?
With the squirrel. Let me see if I can find it. Until then, do you have any frequently asked questions or anything like that you saw? No, I don't find it anymore.
Maybe they did take it off. They realized that squirrel is too blurry.
Yeah.
Was it on the previous campaign?
Maybe it was a previous campaign.
So hopefully they improved it.
Or maybe I just YouTubed it. I think I just YouTubed someone using this. We can erase everything from your minds that I said for the last 5 minutes. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Anyway, the comments, one of the things that jumped out at me is that people were asking about the size of the card that you can put in there. It says it comes with a 32 gigabyte card, and then that can be replaced.
It can't be connected to an external hard drive, no?
I didn't see that. Can it?
No. It can be connected. You can add a 128 gigabyte SD card at most. And something else I found interesting is that it shoots video as well. So it's not just pictures. You can get 4K video with that little tiny Sony sensor. All the tech is up front. If you want to know about their sensors and what lenses they're using, they're very forthright about it. They're not trying to hide behind anything. And it's an expensive sensor, I think. I looked into it, was around $80.
Well, the sensor, I looked into it too. It was a Sony sensor, and it was made for security cameras, which was interesting. So it has a specialty in low light situations, being able to have a really good, clear picture, which is why they're able to take pictures of Uranus.
It's very dark down there.
Yeah. A lot of people were also wanting an HDMI cable, but the creator said that might come in the next version.
The Dwarf III, huh?
The Dwarf III, I guess, yeah.
Does he grow? Is he not a dwarf anymore at some point?
I guess the company grows, the dwarf stays the same size, small. Did you ever see the Dwarf DVDs?
No.
There was always this guy who he would do stuff, and he was always I think he was a fully shaped man who would always just be on his knees, and he'd put shoes on his knees so it looked like he was a tiny person, and then he would just go about life doing random things.
You can't do that.
You can't do that anymore.
2021.
Yeah. Okay, what other frequently asked questions? There was another one that said, is Dwarf II transmitting images in real time?
Mm-hmm. To your phone or tablet, huh?
Right, because what this thing's doing is that this camera, I mean, it is a camera, and so it's recording things, and then you can see it on your smartphone, or you have it stored, onto the SD card, which then you can later take out and put into your computer or wherever else.
Yeah, there's no hole to look through, is there?
Not that I saw.
No. It's all digital.
Right.
Yeah.
And so they said, yes, you can have the image transmitted live to your smartphone or tablet. However, the real-time images are compressed. And so to see the high-quality images, the HD images, you have to get it off of the SD card.
Mm-hmm. So it's like a drone. Drones, it transmits to your phone. You can see where you're flying, what the drone is seeing, but the high-quality images are on the drone itself. And
then also they were asking if it's recording in RAW. And yes, it is. So you can have a very high-quality image that you can then manipulate and have much more options later on.
Images are raw.
Video,
I don't think is raw, from what I understood.
Yeah, it said yes, RAW, JPEG, and PNG are available. So I think it's talking about the images and not video.
Operating temperatures, if you want to go out on a cold winter night, don't. Because it only goes down to 0 degrees, maybe -10.
What I thought was interesting is the prizes. It didn't look like there were any giving any big prizes other than you can get a discount for ordering more than one of these Dwarf IIs.
The stretch goals?
It wasn't stretch goals. It was the thing that says the different packages that you can buy. Like here, you have 2 dwarves. And yeah, you can go up even further. You can get up to 5 dwarves for a discounted price. 5 dwarves, 5 of everything. Which who is buying 5 of these? I don't understand. Unless you're outfitting your terrorist group or you're a science teacher or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Or you have a business, I guess, that you go out bird watching and star watching. You need 5.
And they also come with filters, tripods, and a case.
Right.
And that's even if you just get the one. $300. That's not bad for a telescope.
Well, when they compare it on the site, when they compare it to maybe like what a traditional telescope would cost you with the tracker built in and the tripod, it's at least 5 times more than what the Dwarf II is.
Mm-hmm. Because neither of us are into astronomy. You're not into astronomy, are you?
No.
You know your stars more or less. You can see the Big Dipper.
Yeah, I can see the Big Dipper.
The W, Cassiopeia.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
My
mom's really into them, though.
But it's one thing to look at the stars or look through one of those old analog telescopes. Mm-hmm. But it's something else if you want to take pictures and share those with your friends. Take pictures, take videos. And I guess the hard thing here is if you want to do that with a camera, you need your camera, you need your lens, and you need the tracker that is not only tracking, say, the subject, but also understands the Earth is rotating. I need to constantly move the camera to take pictures of those stars.
Yeah.
And yeah, that adds up.
Yeah, it does. And I think that's where the Dwarf really kicks in with the value of it is that it seems to be, it's in my opinion, what I was reading, it would look like it was the technology built inside of it, not the lenses or anything. It was the fact that this thing can do tracking extremely well, and that it was also doing auto tracking, autofocus, I guess. So it was able to find an object very far away that's in movement and then be able to track that image through whatever algorithm it has.
And if it's taking 4K video, like you could, totally go out into nature, take a video of, if you're going on a safari, take videos of the animals from a distance without disturbing them. I guess that is the thing of bird watching. You can't get too close up and take a picture of them. You need to take
you got to be far away. I remember I used to be part of this production crew that we'd go out camping and we'd take pictures of the night sky. And I remember always feeling bad for the cameraman because he would have to get up at 2:00 in the morning, or not go to sleep at all because he had to do the nighttime shot, the nightscape, like he'd have to press record and wait there as it took a picture after another picture after another picture.
For a time lapse.
Yeah, for a time lapse. So I can imagine something like this would save he'd finally get some sleep, turn it on, go to sleep, and then come back in the morning.
I didn't see anything about the charge. Did you see that? It's fairly lightweight, so it's 1.4 kilos
Uh-huh.
compared to all that heavy, expensive camera gear. Do you remember seeing anything about how long it held the
If
charge?
I remember
4
right, I
hours?
want to say 6 hours. I forget how much what it said.
I think charging time was 3 hours.
Yeah, I don't have it written down here.
So you could take a pretty long time lapse at night. Here it is, 5,000 milliampere hour battery, and I think it was in the comments. Yeah, it was 4 hours or 4.5 hours for the recording,
Uh-huh.
and 3 hours to charge.
So, what do you think about this product? Would you buy something like this?
For $300, I'm not much of a photographer. I'm not much of a stargazer,
Mhm.
unless when I'm going hiking or camping. But it's more just like a personal thing. Look up at the stars. But if I was and I didn't have all this expensive camera gear and already have a setup, I think yeah, definitely. What about you?
No, I don't. I mean, not for the same reasons. I think this is appealing towards an enthusiast or someone who, a telescope enthusiast, someone who's a photography enthusiast for either wildlife or stars. And for that kind of person, I'm sure it would be fantastic. Now, whether that's for someone who is just getting into it or for someone who's been doing it for several years, I don't know. I don't know if someone who's really played the game for a long time, if they'd want to, is it downscale? I don't know if they want to go down, have this small product when they probably have invested all that gear, like you were saying.
You know what I think as well though? It's like our camping gear or climbing gear, you know? You have the stuff that you'll take down to the crag and just use it, and it doesn't matter if it breaks, gets destroyed.
Sure.
And then you have your really specific high-end stuff that you'll take with you on
Yeah.
a trip or something, ultralight stuff. So maybe they already have an expensive, huge camera setup at home,
Yeah.
but then when they want to go on a trip, they're going, say, flying to Hawaii. They
Right.
can't take it with them, but they can set this up on the hotel balcony.
Totally. I could see an audio.
It's a more
yeah.
portable option.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very cool. I could definitely, someone who enjoys this kind of stuff, I think this is a very good gift. Christmas is coming.
Yeah.
So think about it.
If my kid was a little bit older, I'd consider getting this and
Really?
get into stargazing with him. you know?
What do you think is a good time to start that kind of stuff? Imagination's running wild. You can talk about time and all that kind of shit.
Yeah. And he won't pick it up and throw it on the floor, hopefully.
Well, cool.
Yeah, this was another episode of Tech I Want. I'm Dan.
And I'm still Rafi.
If you have any thoughts about the Dwarf II, its naming, its design, its technological features, please let us know in the comments. And if you want to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe and you'll receive a notification next time we're live.
And until that next time, we're out. Thanks.